p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Lamonto.
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Chikala.
Here.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since this is a workshop session, we'll skip over certification of the prior meetings. We'll skip over reading of the privilege of the floor regulations. We'll skip over privilege of the floor. Communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor, anything you'd like to share with us during the workshop?
Yes, we originally planned to do the lantern event, and we decided not to do it. We are still going to have an event, but we're not going to light up the lanterns. We are going to light up one lantern and ask people to bring their cell phones and turn their lights on.
Thank you, Mayor. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions.
Number 1, request from Northern Chautauqua County Youth Hockey Association to use the Wright Park basketball courts on August 19, 2017, August 20, 2017 rain date for their annual street hockey tournament. Also requesting permission to have a bounce house, food vendors, and a concession stand at the presence of the mayor and council for the honorary puck ball drop at approximately 8:45 a.m.
Any comments, council? Seeing none, I would ask for my usual motion and a first. Councilman Lamonto, need a second. Councilman Williams.
Number 2, request from the Chautauqua Center to use Washington Park on Thursday, August 17, 2017, from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. for their annual Family Fun Day. Also requested a donation from the city to assist with the purchase of backpacks. Also requesting the mayor sign a proclamation for National Health Center Week, and extended an invitation to the mayor, common council, city clerk, and city hall staff to the event.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I'll make my usual motion. I need a first. Councilman Williams, I need a second. Councilman Lamonto.
Number 3, request from Catholic Charities WIC to use Washington Park to host their Healthy Baby Festival on Tuesday, July 25th, 2017, from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Make my usual motion of first. Councilwoman Chikawa, second. Councilman Gonzalez.
Request from the Dunkirk City School District to close traffic on Pine Street between Servo Street and Warsaw Street on Wednesday, June 21st, 2017, from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. to accommodate the end-of-year picnic day at School 7.
Any discussion, council? I'll make my motion. I need a first. Mr. Williams, need a second. Mr. Belmonto. Number 5.
Request from Iglesia Cristiana Clínica del Alma Incorporated to hold a service on city property in front of Juicy's Barbershop at 89 East 6th Street on June 23rd, 2017, and 2 services at Washington Park Pavilion on August 11, 2017, and September 8, 2017, also starting at 5 p.m. until 9 p.m.
Any discussion, council?
I just have one. I received a call from one of the neighbors wanting to know how they're going to have a service on such a very small lot on the corner where it's very congested with traffic. That it's also quite lengthy from 5 till 9. So I don't know how anybody else feels about this. I realize that they sent on some signatures, but not all the signatures are from people that live around that area. So
That would be on the corner of Route 60 and 6th Street,
60,
correct?
yeah, 60 and 6, yeah.
It's on the front lawn.
yeah, I don't see it as being a safe place to have a service. If they want to have a service in Washington Park or like other places have had, as long as insurance is an issue, then I would be more than happy to move it somewhere else, but I don't think that's the location.
How does the rest of the council feel?
I would ask the police department if they could be safe.
Not at all. Way too small of an area. How many people are they talking about, Mr. Chairman?
It didn't give an exact number of people. They're just saying to hold a service. So it could be 5, it could be 50, it could be 100.
From the service that I saw that they had at Washington Park last month, I think it was, there's probably maybe 50 people there.
It's not gonna work.
So am I feeling that the vibe from this council is that we deny that particular area on that particular date, but approve the rest of them?
I myself, if it's no inconvenience to the police department, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I would like to see it moved. I can't support having it on that small little lawn. There's not even a room for, what, 10 chairs?
Not a lot of room there at all.
So we would need the majority of the council in order to change this. How do you two gentlemen feel about that one particular
I
area?
want to go on the advice of the police department.
So do I.
Okay. Okay, so what we will be presenting at the council meeting is that we are going to deny the
6th Street.
service at the corner of 6th Street on June 23rd, but approve the remaining two.
In other words, to have them move it back to Washington with the other ones, or less.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Number 6,
We need a first
I'm
and
sorry,
second.
did
Yeah.
you need,
Who would need a first?
I'll do it.
Mr. Valano,
I'll second.
second, Shukawa.
Number 6, request from Lakeshore Street Rod Association to use Cook's Large and Lower Pavilions, the use of Point Gratiot main parking lot, permission for vendors, extra trash barrels, and trash pickup, July 9th, 2017, for their annual harbor cruise.
Any discussion, council? Make my usual motion, a first. Mr. Williams, a second. Councilwoman Shukawa. Number 7.
Request from Shauna Ivanchik Ulrich to use 2 inflatable entertainment houses at Point Gratiot next to the Lower Pavilion on Saturday, June 24, 2017, from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m.
Discussion, council? I'll need a first.
So moved.
Mr. Gonzalez, a second. Mr. Bamanzo. Number 8.
Request from the Resource Center, Filling the Gap Incorporated, for permission to sell newspapers at city designated intersections on June 27, 2017, from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. Also requesting police escort from the DNF Plaza along Central Avenue to Washington Park, July 15, 2017, for their annual Laurel Run at approximately 12:15 p.m. And use of Washington Park to host their victory celebration at the end of the run.
Any discussion, council? Should this be referred to the Dunkirk Police Department as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing the escorting, yes.
And I'll make my usual motion. I need a first.
So moved.
Mr. Williams, second. Mr. Gonzalez. Unless I hear anything from any of the council, is it okay if we group these 4 loudspeaker permits together? He will read them off individually now during the workshop, and then we can make our determination after.
I just wanna know why the last 2 don't have, any department head signatures.
When the packets went out, we still had not received the signed ones. The signed ones are in the, box.
So everyone signed off, we just don't have them, that's,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, A, Pastor Omar Cosme, on behalf of Iglesia Cristiana Clínica del Alma Incorporated, to use 2 speakers, 2 microphones, and various instruments on August 11, 2017, and September 8, 2017, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. at Washington Park. B, James A. Moscato II, on behalf of DHS Class of 1987, to use stereo and speakers at the large pavilion at Point Gratiot, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., July 1st, 2017. Brooke Rasmus Gilbert to use house speakers and microphones at 217 Woodrow Avenue from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. on June 30th, 2017. Rizal Martinez for DJ to use speakers to play music at the large pavilion and the lower pavilion at Point Gratiot from 4:30 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. on June 10th, 2017, and on August 12th, 2017.
Is there any discussion or changes that anybody would like to see done with any of these? Okay, I will ask for them to be grouped together for one vote, and I'll make one motion. Who would like to be the first? Mr. Williams, second. Mr. Bellato. Number 10.
Prior notice from Grace Lutheran Church advising of the need for a manhole cover over a storm drain at the corner of 6th Street and Eagle Street.
This doesn't necessarily need a vote. All I will do is make a motion to refer this to the DPW department.
Did you receive and file it?
Or do you want me to receive and file it?
It's already been prepared today.
Okay, we'll just receive and file it then. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Mr. Williams,
Nothing.
anything? Mr. Romano? Mr. Gonzalez? Mr. Chikawa? Any department heads have anything they'd like to share during the workshop? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 9, pre-filed resolutions.
32, intro number 3 to local law number 3, 2017. City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend chapter 49, section 49-4C of the city code.
Any discussion, council?
This will have to be put off for a public hearing, I believe. At our next, which is what, June 20th? 5,
What would that be?
June 20th. Make the public hearing 5:20.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second.
Oh, actually, we don't have to do that, do we?
Gotta be tabled.
Yeah.
It's just motion to table.
Okay, so that will be tabled for a public hearing June 20th, 2017. It still has to be voted on for the table though, correct?
Right.
Okay. Number 33.
33, authorizing budget line modifications for fiscal year 2017.
Any discussion? Moving on to number 34.
34, authorizing financing of Packard truck.
Any discussion? Mr. Kawa?
I noticed there's no budgetary information in here. No final cost, no budget line, no nothing.
Sean?
Yes, I filed that as it was given to me. Can certainly fix that if the council prefers.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable voting on something that I don't have those numbers and financing in front of me.
Just for the record, those numbers represented at
The finance rating.
I know, but it's important to be able to look back at these, you know.
Yeah, we've asked since day one for any spending of
Anything.
money that those two pieces of information be in any resolution, so.
Correct.
We also had this last year, didn't we, when we ordered it? And the money was supposed to be coming out of the scrap or whatever that they cleaned up at the DPW.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yes, there was another resolution that talked about that.
Okay.
Number 35.
35, authorizing wastewater treatment plant project budget modification.
Any discussion? Number 36.
36, authorizing SEQR wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Any discussion? Number 37.
37, a refunding bond resolution dated June 6, 2017, authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds.
Any discussion? Councilwoman Shikawa?
I just would like Mark to be able to explain this to us a little bit more.
Well, I'll try to summarize it as best I can. It's a wastewater bond that goes back to 2008. It has now become eligible for us to refinance it. We're looking at
Savings.
the original interest rate of just about 4%. We have the option now of refinancing it. The way the bond market rate is now, we could save about 2%, 2 percentage points on the financing.
Is there any fees initiated with refinancing that's?
All of the fees would be included, it would be no upfront cost to the city. Any fees involved would come from the savings in the interest, the difference of the original interest and the current interest.
So there's no money up front
Correct.
for that? So are you refinancing for a longer period of time than we have left on the original bond?
No, it would be the continuation of the same time period.
It was discussed at the finance meeting, it would have been a substantial savings to the city. How much was it?
$324,000.
$324,000.
Any further discussion for number 37? Seeing none, moving on to number 38.
38, authorizing grant application Western New York Downtown Revitalization Initiative, Round 2.
Any discussion? Number 39.
39, intro number 4 to local law 4-2017, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend Article 7, Section 7.00 of the Dunkirk City Charter.
I would need a motion to table this, correct?
Yes.
You're changing the charter. So we're gonna table that to a public hearing, or no?
Let's do it for the same day that we're doing the other one.
Public
Thank you.
hearing,
I'll first.
what's that?
You need a first. I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
And
So what's it-
the other one's at 5:20, you wanna make this one what?
525?
Okay.
6:20.
What's that?
No, that's the date,
Time.
we're talking time.
Oh, okay.
So once the motion to table is made, then we can't really speak about it then in the council meeting, right?
Right, so I'd like
this
to-
would be-
I'd actually have a couple things I'd like to discuss while many of us are here. And I also informed the mayor. I received a couple calls from employees after we had the DPW meeting and it was brought up that we were gonna do this. They were told that we would be doing this with their input, meeting with them along the way. The people that called me, and I'm only hearing one side, so please bear with me, is that there's been no meetings along the way with said individuals. So I just want to hear from the mayor who you've met with and how you've come to moving this forward. And at this time, do you have any plans on any employee that is now employed no longer having a position available once this happens?
So as I explained to council since I've taken office, my plan is to do some restructuring, which is very desperately needed in this department. In the process, since I started, we've identified positions that are no longer needed in the city. And so, part of this resolution here would then enable me to manage appropriately and make decisions as to eliminating such positions. As of yet, those decisions haven't been made, but this is part of the process of being able to make that decision. So, to answer your initial question, no, as of yet, none of the employees have been met with, because we haven't reached that point as of yet.
I know you originally explained it was to be able to call people to municipal worker and to be able to pull people from streets and or parks to a specific project to where you are right now meeting some resistance on certain instances being able to do that. That's still the reasoning behind being able to do this?
That is just one of the many reasons for doing this. Again, this is one element of the restructuring. So there are many pieces to this restructuring. The whole department is being restructured in many different ways, and this is one of the integral things that we need to be able to do to make that whole restructuring.
So once this passes resolution by council, what would your next steps be? So
My
people
next
know
step
what to
would-
expect.
My next steps would be to meet with department head as well as personnel director, establish and continue with a plan that we have in place. At that point, I would meet with council, and at that point, I would meet with the staff members and the union reps and get their feelings on what our plan might be. The first thing I want to let you know, council members, is that nothing that we're doing is meant to hurt any union members or the city in any way. Everything we're doing is to work more efficiently. As I said before, we've identified positions that are no
Thank you.
The councilwoman asked the question I wanted to ask too, so I
Sorry.
guess, I guess, what you're saying then is that if we voted this in, then nobody would be losing a job. There may be a position that's changed, but nobody would be losing a job with the city.
The best way to answer that question would be to let you know that if the situation arises where somebody has a position that has been identified that is no longer needed, they will be afforded an opportunity to take a different position. If they chose not to, then the possibility exists that they may end up without a job.
That'd be up to the employee though.
That would be up to the employer.
As far as the city's concerned, there will be another position that they could fall to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this particular one? Seeing none, moving on.
Number 40, intro number 5 to local law number 5-2017, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend Chapter 2, Article 7, Section 2-7.02, 2-7.04, 2-7.05, 2-7.07, and 2-7.09 of the City of Dunkirk City Code.
Same
Any
thing,
discussion?
same thing as before, I'll make a motion to table. How about
We'll just have-
525?
There you go.
We might have to back the other one up then, you know. The first one.
We'll
might
just have to get
We'll
through
just do
that.
that one at 5:26.
Okay,
Motion to table,
526?
June 20th, 5:26. If they run over, they run over.
Yes.
We start late,
We're all there for the same reason anyway. Okay, number 41.
41, submission of fiscal year 2016 consolidated annual performance and evaluation report paper to HUD.
Any discussion? Number 42.
42, and amending and restating bond resolution dated June 6, 2017 of the Common Council of the City of Dunkirk, Chautauqua County, New York. The city amending the bond resolution that was adopted on June 21st, 2016, authorizing a capital improvement project primarily at the waste pollution control plant in the city.
Any discussion, council?
I just want to make sure we're okay financially with this. Mark, funds are what we need it to be for this?
Well, we were given a budget, proposed budget for the project. Funding would be through, this bond resolution that would authorize, us to go out seeking the necessary financing needed for, whatever phase of the budget, we were starting.
Okay. We're not looking at increasing rates at this time to be able to cover this? Anything like this?
Well, again, in order to pay, and in this case, it looks like it would just be principal payments, because the funding is through Environmental Facilities Corporation, and we anticipate a zero interest rate. But there would be a principal payment that would have to be made. In order to make that payment, we would have to have sufficient revenue available, which most likely would involve our rate structure, our rate increase.
So are we looking at 2017 or prepare for 2018?
Well, again, it would depend on when the project started, when the invoices are due, and when our first payment would be due. Most likely, it would be the end of this year or early next year.
And this is simply for the bar screen and what else?
Well, the bar screen and the other equipment replacement was approved last year. That's a $2.5 million bar. That's still in the works, and it has not been installed or put into service. So there have been no invoices for that. Well, really, for the actual equipment itself.
Right, it's not for.
Nothing yet. So again, we don't know. I mean, it depends on how far the project goes. the completion dates, et cetera.
I mean, I'm all for moving forward with this, cause we've needed some work down there for quite some time, but how is this gonna affect the water portion of people's, bills? I don't. 2017, we don't know if it's 2018, we don't know if it's going up a quarter, we don't have any rate structure attached to spending $10 million.
Mr. Chairman? I can answer.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Woodbury.
The bar screen and the grid removal would be part of the $2.5 million grant, so you wouldn't have to pay any of that back.
Okay.
And the rest of this would be financed at 0% interest over 30 years. So it's the minimal impact. And that we've identified some cost savings in this reconstruction, particularly in the solid handling portion. There could be some very significant cost savings that we could incorporate into the plating frame presses are completely worn out. It's
Are you talking about the
possible-
sludge removal that you showed
Yes,
us?
yes. The next phase will address the sludge removal. We're broken down, we're wasting a lot of money there in many different ways. We're not doing the green thing that we could do with the sludge. And there's a meeting tomorrow night that might incorporate an approach towards sludge that would be intermunicipal as a possible solution to our cost savings. So there are some cost savings addressed in this expense. There's some return on investment that hopefully would help keep those rate increases down.
So this is at 0%
Yes,
for how long?
30 years.
So there's gonna be no interest attached to this at all for the 30 years of the loan?
Again, it's a $7.5 million principal repayment. With no interest, but it's still $7.5 million has to be repaid.
So if you divide that by 30 years and come up with that much in savings, then that's great. That's our target. So the net would be, not that full amount.
This was all based on a consent order too,
And the wastewater plant.
No, no consent order.
from the original one from last year. That we needed to replace the bar screen and that. But we're
Their
getting-
inspection, you mean?
Yeah, but right now we're getting the bar screen and that, through a grant, 2.5 million.
Nobody else has any questions on spending this kind of money? Just me?
Not that we like to or want to spend, but
How is this different than what we discussed last year on this?
The $2.5 million.
Hence the amendment.
What do you mean, as far as, the amendment includes this additional portion of the project, the $7.5 million. It incorporates the $2.5 million that the council approved last year into an additional $7.5 million.
Because when we discussed this last year, we knew it was a $10 million project anyway.
Correct.
Okay. So we knew last year it was a $10 million project, and we knew last year we were gonna go forward with it.
Right.
But last year, we only approved the acceptance of the grant for the two
Right.
and change.
$2.5 million.
So at this point, we're basically,
You are now
we're officially
a total
authorizing for the
project of
remainder
$10
of it
million.
that we're aware of since last year.
it's 7 points.
So wouldn't the amount reflect not including the bar screening system then? Wouldn't it be just like the 8 million?
That's why this would incorporate the $2.5 million. That's already that part was already approved. This is an additional $7.5 million. So you're incorporating the $2.5 million
Grant and
into
the
the
7.5.
one
I
resolution.
understand that, but it could be misleading the way you're
Yes,
reading
I
it.
know.
So when you get the grant money, is that gonna go directly towards, do you
The
get that all in
$2.5
one lump
The
sum, or
$2.5
do you get it in?
million.
do you get it
That
in-
will probably come in increments as each part of the project is completed. We submit a request for reimbursement.
So then you turn around and take that money and place it on the,
will go to reduce this.
okay.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? Number 43?
43, accepting electrical contract for Benton Fourth Ward Pump Station and the water treatment plant high lift pump station Phase 3 under 2009 consent order.
Any discussion on this? 44.
Number 44, authorizing agreement for engineering services for Seal Street CDBG water line project.
Any discussion on this? We have 4 walk-in resolutions for this evening. Number 45.
45, transferring funds from the William Cease Fund.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Chikawa?
Yeah, I can't support this tonight. A couple years ago, when I asked for support for using Bill Cease money towards the senior suite program, that I had to raise about $1,500 in donations, I was short, and I asked for council to allow me to use $500 or $600. I did not get the support in order to do that. And I also asked if we could use some of the Bill Cease fund to use towards the playground in the 4th Ward, which would service a lot of children in the area, and we weren't able to use the money for that either. So I think $5,000 for this is, you know, a nice chunk of money that could, the program was good and I don't have any problem with that, but we also got another donation earlier today for asking for help for backpacks in Washington Park. And that's a lot of money that could be going to something else, so.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I asked this gentleman here, his name is Ron Graham, to come up and answer any questions the council may have on this resolution, so he will have to leave shortly after, so if there's any questions, we can address them to him now that he's here.
Mr. Grant, was it?
Graham.
Do any of you council members have any questions for Mr. Graham pertaining to this resolution? Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
I would just like to share the enthusiasm we've had for this type of program. They're running in other places. I was approached by parents and students to see if we could put together such a program. I was instrumental in putting one together in Jamestown years ago, the Chicago Strider program, which is still running very strong. I've done this type of program for both Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority. It keeps kids off the street. It gives them something positive to do. So I realize that may be a challenge in terms of maybe allocating resources for it, but I assure you that the money is well spent. Right now, we have about 75 kids who have registered and want to participate. I volunteer my time. I come from Jamestown 3 times a week on my own money to be here to oversee the program, and I have 2 other adults that are there to help oversee the program as well. So, I mean, I can answer questions. I realize that you may not be that familiar with it, but I'll be more than happy to answer any more questions.
Is this a one-time request, or is this going to be an annual request?
This is a one-time request for piloting a program of this nature. The plan is that it can be self-sufficient if we can get it off the ground and get it piloted.
Okay.
It's very easy for, the reason that we really have to back into it is that we just we got a late start for the things that we would need to do in order to do that. But my experience has been several programs that have been able to raise upwards of $10,000 to $12,000 of their operating money without any need for other resources.
Any further questions for Mr. Graham?
Yes, sir.
When do you plan on starting and how long does it last?
It's, we want to start June 20th, and it's, right now we're looking at 6 weeks, but I've spoken with some folks that want to expand it to make it an 8-week program, so we probably finish around the middle of August.
And what time of day?
It would be from 6 to 8:30, 9 o'clock every evening. Not every evening, but 3 evenings a week. Dunkirk High School is providing the facility. They're allowing us to use their heavy equipment in terms of the types of things that are not, we're not able to acquire. We also have a gentleman by the name of Darnell Baldwin who has a local business here. And he's one of the volunteers, and he's putting in $2,500 of his own resources to purchase T-shirts and awards and help equipment. So we do have a volunteer component to it in terms of my time and my time in the program. The issue is that it's difficult to run this type of program without the expertise that you need to do it for children. So it would be like trying to run a music program with volunteers that don't know anything about music.
Mayor, is there any way that you have the money in the youth and recreation or anywhere in the recreation department at all, instead of using the Bill Cease money for this?
No, we didn't budget any. If we were to take money from here, we would be cutting out some of the other programs.
Any further questions for Mr. Graham? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Graham. Moving on to Resolution 46.
46, authorizing agreement for engineering services Phase 2 wastewater treatment facility, Wendell.
Any discussion, council? Number 47.
Resolution number 47, authorizing installation of convenience outlet.
Any discussion, council? Moving on to 48.
48, creating the position of Spanish-speaking firefighter.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Chikawa?
Mr. Bamanto or Mr. Gonzalez, have either of you sat and spoke with the fire chief about this?
No,
No.
we look at the need for the city as needing it's no different than the school district asking for a bilingual teacher.
We can talk about it up there. I just wanted to know
Okay, just
whether
so
you
you know,
guys
okay.
discussed this
But I'm
with
just
the
stating
chief.
that this is no different than the school district requesting a Spanish-speaking teacher for the students. No different than that.
Something that this important shouldn't be walked in as a last-minute resolution. Not one of us had a heads up on this to be able to discuss it amongst ourselves, to meet with the chief, to meet with the mayor, to give suggestions, and I think this is just rotten.
It's not rotten because the person still has to meet the qualification of the civil service. The only addition to it is that they speak the language of Spanish. That's all.
I mean, she's just talking about the timing of it.
But timing, it's, sometimes different things happen where you need to act a little sooner than later.
Any further discussion?
Just procedurally, this would be another one of those that would need to be tabled for something or no?
No,
Oh, that could be voted right on tonight?
right. This is yours.
Motion to adjourn, workshop?
So moved.
Councilwoman Chikawa?
Second.
Councilman Gonzalez, second. We'll immediately move right to the meeting since we're running late. Sean? Call to order the Common Council meeting for June 6, 2017 at 5:50 PM. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Here.
Councilmember Shakawa? Councilmember at large Wilson?
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, May 16th, 2017 was presented to the mayor on Friday, May 26, 2017. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, to this 6th day of June, 2017.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes. First by Councilman Williams. I need a second. By Councilman Bamanto. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shakawa? Councilmember at large Wilson?
Aye. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large Wilson shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified above shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time had expired.
Privilege of the floor is now open. Anybody wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address.
Good evening. I'm James Fisher with the Marketing and Tourism Committee of Revitalize Dunkirk, and will be speaking for Revitalize Dunkirk. I would like to take a moment to mention our upcoming event, meeting, and also a question for the council. First, the question. What is the status or an update on the Floramo plan, since it was mentioned to the council? And secondly, I want to mention our monthly meeting, which is next Thursday, June 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Fredonia Incubator just down the street. Please join us if you can. And last, I want to mention this Sunday, June 11th, is our kickoff BYOC, which you bring and pick a spot to watch bring a chair and pick a spot to watch the sunset. Also, bring a camera, snacks, and friends or neighbors along to enjoy a Sunday evening Lake Erie sunset. This BYOC will even be more fun because the city of Dunkirk is going to be conducting a driftwood burn at sunset on the beach. A big thank you to the city of Dunkirk for doing this, and we're already hoping it becomes an annual part of our BYOC Sunset Watch. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, James. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address.
I'm not sure if this is the time that I need to speak. If not, you can sit me down for new business because I don't believe that I am on here yet. My name is Jennifer Blair. I'm the Mobility Manager for the Workforce Investment Board for Chautauqua County, and I work in conjunction with CARTS. And I am here looking for approval to utilize a government building to hold an open house because it is CART's 40th year anniversary. And we want to have a celebration countywide consistency with Jamestown and with Dunkirk. We would love to utilize the senior center because it is a spot on the fixed route, and it also holds a county building organization in the building. So that's why I'm here. If I need to restate this during the new business, I will as well.
So you're requesting use of a city facility, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you speak to anybody within City Hall and have anything in writing?
I have brought a letter into City Hall.
Okay.
I was told to come to the meeting on the 20th, but after that, I had spoken with Hector Rosas and Mayor Rosas, and he told me to come here.
That's not something we can approve at a council meeting, is it?
No, that would, that letter has come in, right?
Yeah, I handed it to you. It was last week.
The letter has to be part of a council agenda.
Right, well.
Correct.
The issue is that I don't know that there's enough time,
Right.
which is what her issue was.
There is a shortage of time because we want to do it July 21st. And the county did not realize that they were going to need government approval from the city, so.
Okay.
I explained to her what her process is, and she stated that that wouldn't give her enough time for planning. So I told her to come in and request it from you, since I don't have the authority to approve that.
That's for July 12th, you said?
July 21st.
July 21st,
We have a meeting June 20th.
hopefully.
If the letter's put in our packet. we
Would you
can put
like
it
me to return then?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I
Shouldn't
can do that.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Can I just press record?
You said you gave a letter to our clerk's office?
I gave a letter regarding the date that is upon request and approval, yes.
Okay, we could just use that letter as part of
Okay.
the packet for the next council
And then I need to be
meeting.
present?
And then no,
No? Okay.
no, and then we can act on it as long as it's part of the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all that needs to happen.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. I apologize.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do it for next council meeting. Sorry for the confusion, Jen, we were just caught off guard a little bit. Anybody else wishing privilege of the floor, please step forward, state your name and address. Last chance. Anybody else wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is closed. Number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
Just have 3 items, just announcements. As you know, the city of Dunkirk has received $1.19 million to dredge Dunkirk's harbor. The Dunkirk harbor is one of our city's greatest assets, and we have been working to improve it to meet its greatest potential. The dredging of the federal channel will mean increased commercial fishing and will bring more visitors to our harbor. Our city administration is working with our Harbor Commission and marina operator to provide additional opportunities for recreational activities, and this funding for dredging will certainly help to reach that goal. We are grateful to our federal officials for working with us to secure the funding. Our Music on a Pier will begin this Thursday, June 8th, and it'll kick off our festivals and events season with our first Music on the Pier concert. This year, we'll be having an opening act at each concert, which will start at 5:25 p.m. This Thursday's opening act includes Kyra Nazdowski, followed by Rumors, a Fleetwood Mac tribute band. We look forward to everyone coming out and enjoying what makes the city of Dunkirk a great place to live. And thirdly, our Spring Fest. This Friday, June 9th, will kick off our first festival of the year. Spring Fest will start with a concert at 6 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, June 10th, and will include a numerous amount of events such as live music from 1 to 8:30 p.m., the Super Flea Market from 11 to 4 p.m., our first annual basketball tournament, a family-friendly movie at dusk, and Sunday we will end the festival with music from 1 to 8:30 p.m. The Super Flea Market from 11 to 4 p.m., a beach burn at both Point Gratiot and Wright Park beaches, and Sunset Watch at Point Gratiot Park. Please make sure to come out and support our festivals and events here at the city. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Communications from the public and petitions. Number 1.
Request from the Northern Chautauqua County Youth Hockey Association to use the Wright Park basketball courts on August 19, 2017, August 20th, 2017 rain date for their annual street hockey tournament. Also requesting permission to have a bounce house, food vendors, and a concession stand, and the presence of the mayor and council for the honorary puck ball drop at approximately 8:45 a.m.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and conditions. Councilman Bamanto with the first, Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 2.
Request from the Chautauqua Center to use Washington Park on Thursday, August 17, 2017, from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. for their annual Family Fun Day, and request of a donation from the city to assist with the purchase of backpacks. Also requesting the mayor sign a proclamation for National Health Center Week, and extended an invitation to the mayor, common council, city clerk, and city hall staff to the event.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 3.
Request from Catholic Charities WIC to use Washington Park to host their Healthy Baby Festival on Tuesday, July 25th, 2017, from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilwoman Shikawa with the first, Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 4.
Request from the city, Dunkirk City School District to close traffic on Pine Street between Serval Street and Warsaw Streets on Wednesday, June 21st, 2017, from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. to accommodate the end-of-year picnic day at School 7.
Any discussion, council? Need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Bamanto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 5.
Request from the Iglesia Cristiana Clínica del Alma Incorporated to hold a service on city property in front of Juicy's Barbershop at 89 East 6th Street on June 23, 2017, and 2 services at the Washington Park Pavilion on August 11, 2017, and September 8, 2017, all starting at 5 p.m. until 9 p.m.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
We discussed in the workshop that the section of 6th Street that they're requesting is too small to do a service there, so we will not be granting permission for that, but we will be granting permission for the others, which is Washington Park.
Clerk, if you could please make sure that they find that out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Bamanto with the first, Councilwoman Shikawa with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 6.
Request from Lakeshore Street Rod Association to use Cook's large and lower pavilions, use of Point Gratiot main parking lot, permission for vendors, extra trash barrels, and trash pickup on July 9, 2017 for their annual harbor cruise.
Discussion? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Williams with the first, Councilwoman Shikawa with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 7.
Request from Shauna Evanchik Allrug to use 2 inflatable entertainment houses at Point Gratiot next to the lower pavilion on Saturday, June 24, 2017, from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m.
Discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So moved.
First by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Bamanto. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 8.
Request from the Resource Center Filling the Gap Incorporated for permission to sell newspapers at city-designated intersections on June 27, 2017, from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m., also requesting police escort from DNF Plaza along Central Avenue to Washington Park on July 15, 2017, for their annual Laurel Run at approximately 12:15 p.m., and the use of Washington Park to host their victory celebration at the end of the run.
Any discussion, council? I have a multi-tiered motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions, and to refer this to the Dunkirk Police Department. Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilson.
Aye. Number 9, loudspeaker applications. We have 4 of them before us today. I have asked the clerk to please group them together. He will read them all off individually, but they will be voted on as one.
A, Pastor Omar Cosme on behalf of Iglesia Cristiana Clínica del Alma Incorporated to use 2 speakers, 2 microphones, and various instruments on August 11, 2017, and September 8, 2017, from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. at Washington Park. B, James A. Moscato II on behalf of DHS Class of 87 to use stereo and speakers at the large pavilion at Point Gratiot from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. on July 1st, 2017. C, Brooke Rasmus Gilbert to use house speakers and microphones at 217 Woodrow Avenue from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. on June 30th, 2017. And Rizal Martinez for DJ to use speakers to play music at the large pavilion and lower pavilion at Point Gratiot from 4:30 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. on June 10th, 2017, and on August 12th, 2017.
Any discussion, council? I need a motion to refer these to appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Mr. Williams with the first, Mr. Bomano with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Wilwishaw?
Aye. Number 10,
Prior notice from Grace Lutheran Church advising of the need for a manhole cover over a storm drain at the corner of 6th Street and Eagle Streets.
we have been informed during our workshop session that this has been completed, so this prior notice will be received and filed. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams, the floor is yours.
Just want to say that our next DPW committee meeting will be Tuesday, June 27th, up here in the mayor's conference room at 4 o'clock. And that's all for today.
27,
Yeah,
Really, that's it?
really, that's it.
Wow, impressive.
It's a big agenda. I'll try to keep it short. We'll be longer next time.
Councilman Bamanto, floor is yours.
This past weekend, we held, Palmershankle Stadium held Section 6 Far West Championship for girls softball, C's and D's. Very well attended. The field got dirt put on it for the first time in 14 years. And their director from out there just came here and just praised it, and they want to come back. They love the facility, how they got it ready. And I'd like to thank the mayor all the way down to the top. So there's too many people to thank, but started from the mayor, putting the pedal down and getting the fields ready, getting the guys' field ready. That was through the Parks Department, through Bob, Ryan Hall, and his workers, the seasonal workers. A job well done in a short period of time. We had rain, we had all kinds of problems, but they got it done. I even got to thank Councilman Williams. He came there and rolled the field from the county. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Bamanto. Councilman Gonzalez?
The Economic Development meeting will be on the 20th at 4:30 at our next meeting. Also, I'm glad to say that at that next meeting, we'll be presenting the resolution for the Floramo resolution will be presented at that time, which for them will have to be tabled and so on, and go to the next phases we need to do that. But it will be presented at our next council meeting, so I'm happy for that, and that's all I have.
Councilwoman Shikawa?
Yes. Officer McAfee, I told you about the truck sign that was supposedly taken down on Doty and Roberts Road, designated, saying it was not a truck route. The sign was taken down, but I received both an email and a phone call, and I just want you to reiterate that this is a designated truck route.
I just double checked on it, it is not on the list, it is not a truck route.
It is not a
Not.
truck. It's not.
They are allowed to deliver, they're allowed to use that access.
Local
to
deliveries.
deliver, obviously, the Hellmans, the Justo Club, the Earharts, and so you're gonna get truck traffic down
Okay.
Doty, but it's not designated as a truck route.
Bob, can we get a sign put back up there?
Yep, I talked with Mike today, and it was on our list.
Thank you very much. Chief Edwards, the mayor just spoke about the beach burn, both at Wright Park and at Point. We're doing this simultaneously, both at the same time? Different times, different days?
Different days. One for Sunday is a definite at this time. I'm working with the Public Works Director to attempt to do a Friday. They're gonna do a Friday burn on Wright Park after the band is complete on the pier.
Okay.
That's if we're able to, if they're able to get the pile together.
Okay.
We're waiting on the bulldozer from the county to come push the wood out of the pile.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, Al, 3 weeks ago at the council meeting, I handed you a list of possible issues at residences, things like that, front yards, backyards. Were you able to get any updates from me on those?
Yeah, we did quite a few of them. There was 52 of them. Referred the one to the county health department on that one issue.
Do you know if that issue was resolved or no?
I got an email late today, which I didn't open up because I came to the meeting.
Okay.
I don't know yet. And he was aware of it, by the way. We had 5 on there. The addresses were either incorrect or weren't there. 12 with no violations. A couple of violations were the houses where the owners has deceased. 2 were on foreclosures. There's 1 vacancy. We've got 12 yet to go. We sent out 14 letters. Stella's taking over one of those houses as a grant for the improvement of the neighborhood. We issued 1 appearance ticket during that period of time. And there was work started on one of those other projects. In the meantime, since April 19th, we've had 381 letters out for high grass. We've been a little busy for April because of all the rain and the constant growing of the grass. We're still doing it. We do have our contractors out, and they are cutting grass as quickly as they can and in between the rainstorms.
Okay. Would you be able to get me that list either by email or put it in my box of where you are?
When we finish those other
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
ones, yeah.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Chikawa. Mr. Gonzalez, you have something to
Yeah,
add?
I'm sorry, I forgot to make the street sign on Willowbrook and Brigham Road that was taken down by a truck. It hasn't been put back. And from the neighbor there said that sometimes the truck that are driving on there miss the entrance to Willowbrook and go on to Brigham and have to back up because they missed the sign. If that can be put up, appreciate it. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Gonzalez. I just have 2 quick things. Finance Committee meeting, June 22nd, Thursday, June 22nd, 4 p.m. And also, I'd like to thank the mayor and anybody else who has been involved. Front page of the newspaper the last couple of days said that the cold storage facility is possibly moving back into the city limits, which is good news, and in a more suitable neighborhood for something of that nature. So hopefully we won't run into the same roadblocks that we did last month or 2 months ago. So I want to thank anybody and everybody who was involved in that as well. So that's great news if it actually comes to fruition. No unfinished business, so we'll be moving on to number 9, pre-filed resolutions.
32, intro number 3 to local law number 3-2017, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend Chapter 49, Section 49-4C of the City Code, Dunkirk City Code.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Chikawa?
Make a motion to table this for a public hearing on June 20th at 5:20 p.m.
I need a second on the motion to table.
I second that.
Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye. Number 33.
Authorizing budget line modifications for fiscal year 2017.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voloshin.
Aye.
34, authorizing financing of a Packer truck.
Any discussion? Councilwoman Chikawa?
Yeah, in the workshop, I had questioned the amount of the truck, whether it's going to be payments due in 17 or starting in 18, and what budget line is coming from that's not in here. So for myself, I'd like to see us table this for the next meeting.
Any further discussion, council?
I'll make a motion to table the resolution for the next meeting.
Do I have a second to table the resolution? I have no second to table the resolution, so we must vote on the resolution.
Well, then my questions will continue. Which budget line is it coming out of? How much is it going to cost? And will we start from 17 or from 18 so I can write this down?
Sean, do you have that information?
I do not have that information.
There was, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Actually, Chris may be able to answer the question.
The truck is approximately $164,000. 64 of that will come from fund balance, the adjustment that we just made in the finance and for the budget amendments. That was from scrap sale that was made in 16. So that'll come out of that, that revenue part. 100,000 will be financed over 3 years. So it'll be starting with a payment due in 18, 19, and 20. Approximately $35,000 per year, or probably a little less than that. Interest rate of 4%.
Do you have the budget line for that 160, for the
It would
scrap
be
metal was?
the scrap metal, yeah.
It's on the modification.
It was on the resolution, was it not?
The refuse and garbage, the equipment line is 8160.2 for the garbage and, refuse and garbage collection equipment. That's where the appropriation line.
Thank you. Then I'll remove my motion from the table.
Okay.
That's all I needed to know.
Clerk, call the roll on the resolution.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 35.
Authorizing wastewater treatment plant project budget modification.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 36.
Authorizing SEQR wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Any discussion, council? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 37.
A refunding bond resolution dated June 6, 2017, authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds.
Any discussion, council? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 38.
Authorizing grant application Western New York Downtown Revitalization Initiative, Round 2.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 39.
Intro number 4 to Local Law 4-2017, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend Article 7, Section 7.00 of the Dunkirk City Charter.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa.
I make a motion to table this resolution for a public hearing June 20th at 5:25 p.m.
I need a second to the table. Councilman Gonzalez with a second to the table. Clerk, call the roll on the table.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa. Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 40.
Intro number 5 to Local Law 5-2017, City of Dunkirk, New York, a local law to amend Chapter 2, Article 7, Section 2-7.2, 2-7.4, 2-7.05, 2-7.07, and 2-7.09 of the City of Dunkirk City Code.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa.
Make a motion to table the resolution for a public hearing June 20th at 5:26 p.m.
Need a second to the table. Councilman Gonzalez with a second. Clerk, call the roll on the table.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 41.
Submission of fiscal year 2016 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, to HUD.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 42.
And amending and restating bonds resolution dated June 6, 2017 of the Common Council of the City of Dunkirk, Chautauqua County, New York. The city amending the bond resolution that was adopted on June 21st, 2016, authorizing a capital improvement projects primarily at the water pollution control plant in the city.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 43.
Accepting electrical contract for Benton Fourth Ward Pump Station and the Water Treatment Plant High Lift Pump Station Phase 3 under 2009 consent order.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Voisin.
Aye. Number 44.
Authorizing agreement for engineering services for CO Street CDBG water line project.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez. Councilmember Shikawa. Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. We have 4 walk-in resolutions this evening that are not on the agenda. Clerk, please read them off. Resolution number 45.
Transferring funds from the William Cease Fund.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
I just want to let everybody know that I support what this group is trying to do. I think getting the youth off the street is, and getting them involved in sports is very important, and I commend the gentleman that came and spoke to us. However, in the past, I've asked for money from the Bill Cease Fund for 2 different projects, one of them being the playground in the 4th Ward, and one of them being the senior sweep program for the seniors at the Dunkirk High School. And I wasn't given the support for removing money from the Bill Cease Fund at that time. So to me, $5,000 is a lot of money to do this. I would have liked to have seen something else worked out, so I can't support this tonight.
Any further discussion? Councilman Bamanto?
I'll be supporting this tonight, and this is for a startup summer track, a feeder for the high school kids. 75 kids have already signed up, boys and girls. I think it's the money is well deserved, and it's a one-time deal. It's going to be for 6 weeks, 3 times a week they're meeting, and hopefully this will launch a feeder that they'll be able to be substantial on their own in the future.
Thank you, Councilman Bamanto. Any further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
No?
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Number 46.
Authorizing agreement for engineering services Phase 2 wastewater treatment facility, Wendell.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Number 47.
Authorizing installation of convenience outlet.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Number 48.
Creating the position of Spanish-speaking firefighter.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
This is a subject that I believe should have had some more meetings in place. We should have met as a group under one of the committees. So my suggestion is going to be, I will have my public safety meeting prior to the next council meeting. We'll have this on the agenda. We'll have the chief there, the mayor there. Hopefully all members that are, can make it can come and discuss this. What I would like to see happen is for the people that sponsored this resolution to meet with the chief on your own time, and he can give you the ins and outs of how we go about creating a position and or changing civil service so that it's reflecting Spanish speaking, which also needs to still be English speaking, so this officer or this firefighter can still communicate with the rest of the department, which is very important. But to be able to walk in a resolution important as this, I think was wrong. So for me, I'm gonna make a motion to table this resolution for the next meeting.
There's a motion to table on the floor. Do I have a second on the motion to table? Councilman Williams with the second to motion to the table. We will have to vote on the table. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you.
is, or resolution is tabled. Seeing no more business. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilwoman Shikawa, second. Councilman Gonzalez. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
I don't know why we had to.
Hey, Jen.